you've been FBI director for the last, 8 months?
7 months, yes.
7 months, and during that time, have you held any stock in any companies founded in China?
I don't believe so.
Well, you do own stock in a company known as Elite Depot, don't you?
Which one, sorry?
Elite Depot. You own stock.
I think that's, I'll have to get back to you. I think it's a law firm and it's a company out of Singapore.
Okay, well, no, the company out of Singapore, which is owned by Elite Depot, is the Shein Company, which was founded in China, correct?
That company operates out of Taiwan.
Well, they changed their headquarters from China back in 2022 to Singapore for tax purposes, but it's owned by a Chinese billionaire. I think his name is Charlie Zhu, and you own stock in the company that owns Shein.
Which I disclosed during my confirmation
You
process.
certainly did. And now, do you still hold that stock in that Chinese company?
Pursuant to the Department of Justice, who reviewed my material that was submitted during my confirmation process, I was able to hold certain stocks, and they made the decision.
You still hold the stocks that you have? You still hold on to these Chinese stocks, these stocks in this Chinese company?
I disagree that it's a Chinese company, but I was in the DOJ, when you're appointed, makes a call on what you can and can't possess.
Well, now, let me ask you this. Chinese companies steal trademarks. They produce counterfeit products and sell them over the internet on platforms such as Shein. They steal intellectual property. They steal data from American companies. And to me, it seems inconsistent with your role as FBI director that you would own stock in a company that is based in a country that is the nation's premier national security threat. It's like you are putting your own financial security over the security of the nation.
I disagree with that characterization.
Well, I think the American people look at it like it's a classic situation of the fox guarding the hen house. If the FBI is charged with investigating espionage, economic espionage by companies controlled by the Chinese Communist Party, and you are the director of the FBI, you've got a conflict of interest.
Sir, I would just show if there's any intimation that I'm against.
Why are you holding on to this stock?
It wasn't a decision I made.
And it's valued at up to $5 million as of when you last reported, correct? $5 million in stock?
No, I don't follow it.
You don't follow it, but you're still making money off of it.
The congressman begins by framing China as the country's greatest national security threat. That's a broad statement, and it's worth noting that security experts generally don't distill complex global dynamics into a single villain. But the framing serves a purpose. It creates the backdrop for the next line of questioning, which is about whether the FBI director owns stock connected to a company with Chinese origins. This is where the exchange becomes more complicated than it might appear.
I don't have any money off of anything.
Well,
What I have done...
Trump's trade policies directly impact the value of that Chinese stock. Won't you agree with that?
Which trade policy? I'm not a trade expert.
Okay, all right.
But I want to tell you
You're
this.
crazy on me today. Let me ask you this question. Why are you hiding pedophiles? Why are you shielding pedophiles? Why are you protecting pedophiles?
That is maybe the most offensive thing you could say to me, given the numbers.
Well, you have not released
Given the
Epstein
numbers
files.
of pedophiles.
You're aware of the
we have
Epstein
arrested.
client list that was published in the 18,000
The gentleman has
emails
expired. The gentleman yields
Can I just-
back.
Can you answer the
Can I
question?
just respond?
Of course, the gentleman can answer the question.
Since I took over the FBI, there has been a 33% increase.
Sir, all of that started under Christopher
Your time
Wray.
is done,
No,
but
it didn't.
the witness gets
All
to
of
answer
that
the
started
question,
under
and then we'll go to our
previous,
next.
33.
FBI director, sir, and you're coming in here trying to take credit for something that a previous director
Gentlemen,
instituted and largely brought to conclusion.
I take
I
no
think it's pretty
credit.
clear that
offensive.
the
It's
director
offensive.
has numbers are so
incorrect
much
also.
better than the previous director.
It's
Dr. Patel, if you want to
I
answer
take-
the question.
I take no credit. The men and women of the FBI have seen a 33% increase in the number of counterintelligence arrests out of the PRC.
So all of a sudden, with
And
you
the-
coming in 7 months ago,
and,
Gentlemen's time has
Heaven on earth.
expired.
and on the
sir, the
pedophile
American public's not gonna
accusation,
go for that.
we have arrested 1,500 child predators in the last 7 months.
Under
That's
investigations
more than
initiated by
anybody else.
the prior
Appreciate the
directorship.
director's good work, and we really appreciate that the time the gentleman has expired.
The director's investments were disclosed during his confirmation, which is exactly how ethics and transparency rules are supposed to work. Federal ethics officials evaluate potential conflicts, tell nominees what they can and cannot hold, and create boundaries that protect public trust. So when he says the Department of Justice reviewed my material, that isn't deflection. It's a reminder that these decisions follow a process designed to prevent personal conflicts from touching national security work. The congressman's approach, however, shifts from probing to accusing. Instead of establishing whether the director's holdings create an actual conflict under federal law, he moves to moral framing. You're putting your financial security over the security of the nation. That's a leap, and viewers should understand how big a leap it is. Owning widely traded multinational stock, especially after ethics officials approve it, isn't improper by itself. The issue isn't whether a company once operated in China. The real question should be, does the official have meaningful influence over the company, or does the holding create a direct conflict with a specific investigation? That's how conflict of interest standards work, and those nuances matter. Then the rhetoric takes a sharper turn. Instead of staying on the subject of stocks or national security policy, the questioning pivots abruptly to an explosive, unrelated accusation. Why are you hiding pedophiles? This is where oversight abandons substance. When a hearing becomes a platform for insinuation instead of inquiry, the public loses the chance to understand real policy issues, from counterintelligence strategy to child exploitation enforcement to foreign investment regulation. The director's reaction is telling. Calling the accusation the most offensive thing you could say to me isn't just emotional language. It's frustration from someone who oversees thousands of agents working on those very crimes. He brings up numbers, an increase in counterintelligence arrests, 1,500 child predator arrests, not to take credit, but to bring the conversation back to measurable reality. There's something important for viewers to recognize here. Federal agencies operate across administrations. Programs, investigations, and arrests do not start from zero every time a new director arrives. When the congressman tries to attribute all progress to a prior director and no progress to the current one, it oversimplifies how institutions function. Career agents, investigators, and analysts carry out the work regardless of politics, and that continuity is a feature, not a flaw. This moment also reflects a broader tension in modern oversight hearings. They are supposed to be opportunities to examine policy failures, evaluate threats, and hold officials accountable. But too often, the hearings become stages for clips designed to go viral, rather than tools to improve governance. When an elected official jumps from international stock disclosures to incendiary accusations without evidence, it doesn't clarify anything for the public. It muddies the water and clouds the very issues the committee claims to care about. So what can viewers take away that actually empowers them? First, understand how ethics rules really work. Federal officials undergo strict review, and ethics officers, not political appointees, make the calls. Knowing this helps you separate genuine conflict of interest concerns from political framing. Second, pay attention to when questioning shifts from policy to provocation. Real oversight depends on facts and follow-through. When an exchange suddenly veers into unrelated allegations, that's usually a sign that the goal has changed from informing the public to generating outrage. When an elected official jumps from international stock disclosures to incendiary accusations without evidence, it doesn't clarify anything for the public. It muddies the water and clouds the very issues the committee claims to care about. So what can viewers take away that actually empowers them? First, understand how ethics rules really work. Federal officials undergo strict review, and ethics officers, not political appointees, make the calls. Knowing this helps you separate genuine conflict of interest concerns from political framing. Second, pay attention to when questioning shifts from policy to provocation. Real oversight depends on facts and follow-through. When an exchange suddenly veers into unrelated allegations, that's usually a sign that the goal has changed from informing the public to generating outrage.